How did I come up with the design?
Yeah.
I had a problem, which was what most people are having. Problem was, what do I do with my pistol and the silencer when I'm done shooting it? If you're at an indoor range, you can set it on the table. If you're an outdoor, whatever, you may not have anything to do. You may just have to put it on the ground. Generally, you have a hot thing that you don't want to take off your gun every time because you really want to put it on there once. So what do you do with it? So I found a specific holster that I don't want to name, names just because of legal reasons, but I had found that people were cutting the tops off of them to make suppressor holsters. So I tried this, and it looked totally bad, but it was cheap and supposedly it worked. And I was like, wow, this is great. And then I went shooting, and the gun fell out of the holster, and I was like, this
Mm-hmm.
is a total no-no. So I
Mm-hmm.
looked into it pretty deeply and said, like, hey, this can't be that hard to make, like to basically copy this. I looked at the retention system. I was like, it was retaining on a very, very small piece of plastic. I was like, that's not really what I want for my gun. Again, I've said before, like you got a $500 gun, $300 optic, $1,000 silencer, any other gear you have on there, and it could just fall out,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't want that. So I came up with this design that had a rotating locking mechanism that had far less retention than we have now, and decided that the best way to do it was with 3D printing because that's my forte. So I made some of these holsters, chose the best material I had at the time, chose the best printers that I could get at the time, and designed it. It worked relatively well. I had great success with it. Some people didn't. Some people had very high expectations for what it was going to be able to do. And because it's an open top design, it just didn't have the ability to do it. We've been replacing anybody's Gen 1 holster that they want to have replaced. But basically, that was what I came up with. Also, the piece of it that, like, I didn't have $700 to douse on a Surefire Master File. You just can't
Mm-hmm.
afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So came up with this, sold some of them, and then Joe took another crack at it. And Joe, how did you come up with the design for the Gen 2?
Yeah, it was interesting because we had worked a few times during the beginning on how could we make the retention system a little bit better, a little bit easier to manufacture. And it was a good system. It was really clever how it worked. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was trying to think of like, okay, we basically need to move a block out of the way of this duty light. We were doing it with this kind of swinging bar mechanism. And I kind of had this like thought of like, what if we made it like almost just like a plug you would plug into something? How could you do that? And I really wanted to focus on because another aspect we had worked on was that the assembly of the Gen 1 was pretty cumbersome. That
Oh
was it
my
was taking a
God,
lot of effort.
a
And
lot of effort.
our background, I mean, mine specifically is in manufacturing engineering, so it's always looking to how can you make things faster, cheaper, easier, all that kind of good stuff. And so when we were really, I mean, 3D printing is kind of the basis of like brought a lot of the design to the forefront. It's like, could we make something that's just like a puzzle that you just like puzzle piece together? And so those two ideas, I came up with the idea of, well, what if you just like had just something on the end of a spring, just like a diving board, just a little diving board you pushed out of the way. And uh, then like made it like Lego. So like the diving board plugs into this thing and then the lever plugs into the back of it and like you're done. And the first like real basic designs were nothing more than that. And it proved to be really robust. And so we took it to the next step further and actually made it for some of the lights and added a few extra structural features, just some like, even though we hate this term, belt and suspenders, because we wanted to make this thing really, really rigid. And there's a really high expectation in the firearms industry that we wanted to make sure we met. And yeah, it was a very quick but rapidly iterating process because we had gone to SHOT Show this year, show it off. We had just the Gen 1 and we're like kind of still tinkering around with the Gen 2 and we're getting a lot of interest. So we knew we had something here and we were super duper motivated to get this going. And one of the powers that Spencer and I have always had working together is that we always bounce ideas off each other really quickly and someone will get an inspiration, we'll make it happen. That'll inspire somebody else to do something else, will make it happen. And so we iterate and work really quickly. And like it literally took 2 weeks and we had like a functioning prototype that we were just like, oh man, yeah, like we have to move forward with this. This solves so
Yeah.
many problems.
It not only does it solve so many problems, it's so much more robust. Like it really is, you can get fast, cheap, and good. We kind of got all three. We had
Yeah.
to put a lot of thought into it, but we did get fast. We're not spending $1 million on an injection mold, and it's very good. So yeah, I think we got it all.
Yeah. Like the thing for me throughout my career as an engineer, you have something good when you get to actually use something you design and even you're surprised at how good it is. And the
Yeah.
Hush holster has always been that for me.